Let's turn our attention to in Enugu State this time as the Governor Peter Mbah's administration reaches its midterm milestone. Now, since taking oath of office, he has implemented various initiatives aimed at driving growth, development and improving the lives of the residents. One of the notable areas of focus has been infrastructure development. The administration has invested in road construction and rehabilitation, improving connectivity and facilitating economic activities across the state. Efforts have been made to enhance the state's health care sector and also the education system. Initiatives aimed at improving access to quality health and education for the governor's administration has also prioritized economic development with initiatives designed to promote entrepreneurship, attract investment and create jobs. Now, joining us for this conversation is the Deputy Chairman, PDP Enugu State, Steve Oruru. Many thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Yes, a very good morning to you.
Thank you for coming.
Good morning. What do you make of the midterm assessment of the governor of Enugu State at this time?
Well, to say the least, it has been a blistering, exciting, scintillating performance in terms of leadership models. Our people had, been pummeled, tortured, and vilified by, series of unbridled, poor governance, to say the least. But this particular regime has come with some innovative, disruptive model of leadership that has created exponential growth in our system. And people are beginning to see, unprecedented achievements in terms of infrastructural development and mental emancipation of the people, a situation where freedom has been reduced to their doorsteps, and dissemination of priorities in terms of dividends of democracy have been shared across without any sentiments of biases or primordial sentiments or sectarian barriers or whatever be inclinations towards sectionalism or clannishness. All that has been dismantled by the leadership of the state in a situation where inequalities, inequities, disequilibrium have been dismantled, given the flurry of activities going on in all wards of the state. I could say without mincing words that the government is spending over ₦1 billion in terms of investment in 260 wards of the state at the moment, and that is completely unprecedented. It has never happened here before. And to rule out, some of those things because of want of time, let us just visit the education sector, for instance, because it touches the mind, given the fact that, we had Children's Day just a few days ago. It has a cutoff in Enugu at the age of 3 that this smart green school, has presented freely for the children, and the situation where they can enjoy, learning in a different way and be connected or reconnected to the grid of the new world order. In a situation where they will be part of the learning that will include artificial intelligence, mechatronics, robotics, visual and augmented realities, creativity and innovation of every kind. A situation where the child gets an opportunity to be taken to school in a bus freely and also get a quality meal in the school, and there will be nothing like school fees. So there's a sense in which I feel there is an equalization of some sort. There's a parity restored today between the rich and the poor. We live in a society where there's a yawning chasm, where there is a melting gap between the life of the rich and the poor. So, but that has been smartly narrowed by the state government today. If you come into the city, you could see that most of the people are happy. And same happens in the University of the Technology Institute here, where accreditation, has been given to virtually all the courses. Same with IMT, under the watch of Professor Chigozie Obodo. And having said this, it is salient to mention that over 15 persons are going on that, 15,000 persons are being trained today within the experiential learning center. Because the target is that in Enugu, what we want to do is to have experiential learning. There shouldn't be, a disconnect. between learning that will come only in theory. We want practice. So this is not the era of dysfunctional, kind of leadership that will be disconnected from the will of the masses. So having said this, you quickly go to
speech. So in his
the area of health. Perhaps that is what touches life. 260 type 2 primary health care, have also been provided by this regime in every ward. Providing also residential quarters for the doctors and nurses. And when I listened to the head of WHO speak about the Enugu government, and he talked so much about the inclusion of those residential areas, making the doctors with domicile in the environment, and that was fantastic. And anybody who comes to Enugu will see that a monumental building is, edifice is going on, talking about 300-bed hospital within the Rangers Avenue.
Just a moment. Mr. Since you're speaking about the health sector, let's move on to the health sector.
We are,
just a moment, Mr. Aurora.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you loud.
Since you're speaking on the health sector, let's speak about the health sector. So it was reported that the administration invested about $2 billion into the health sector. So tell us what improvements have come about by this investment.
Within the health sector?
Yes.
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm talking about. A monumental or gigantic hospital is, germinating in Enugu at the moment within the Rangers Avenue. It's a 300-bed international hospital that will attract intellectual property from the West, and also a combination of fleet of expertise also coming from our own doctors here, and lots of equipment for diagnosis and other things, meaning that those who, venture into trips overseas for medical, escapade should come to Enugu and make sure that that will be given to them freely. So that's how much Enugu is being connected to the global standards. So, and I talked about the type 2 primary health, centers, circulated over the 260 wards at the same time. Well equipped, within it as clean water. Of course, I talked about the residential quarters. And of course, an initiative which has to do with collaboration between the Enugu state government and the European Union that has provided solar as well for the primary health care. So I think the momentum is high, the stake is so high, and there's a rising crescendo in terms of how the people are beginning to believe in what is being done even in the medical sector. But very quickly, if you go to the road network as well, the government had promised that within his regime, he's targeting to do 10,000 kilometers of roads for the 8 years, meaning that every year we hope to achieve about 1,250 kilometers of road. And as we're speaking today, about 103 roads have been commissioned, and about 300 roads also flagged off, and work is ongoing as we're speaking. Enugu is like a theater, an epicenter of road construction as we're speaking today.
So having said this, speaking about the achievements of the administration in the infrastructure and road development, but how do you think this is going to help with the economic activities in the state? Saying that the governor said that he wants to improve the economy of the state by at least about $30 billion.
Definitely, you are spot on with your question. Enugu is being connected to massive exponential growth in terms of development. This is exactly why when we talk about road construction, it leads you to what we are doing in agriculture. A kind of agro-processing zone has been created where 300 hectares, earmarked with an intent to cultivate cassava to ethanol productivity that will take us to exportation. But be that as it may, it will be salient to also look at moribund projects, like Presidential Hotel in Enugu. That used to be a wonderful edifice to behold, but to the chagrin of everyone. And it was a monumental embarrassment for too long. For 25 years, we watched that hotel stand almost in ruins. But today, that honor, that prestige of Enugu has been restored. If you look at it today, it's standing elegantly. Whatever be the challenges, are dismantled by the governor. Same with the International Conference Center, that Mr. President, on the 4th day of January 2025, was in Enugu to commission himself given the importance or the point of this particular edifice. Today, NBA, for instance, as prestigious as the body, has abandoned River State. There are people today, planning how to execute the NBA conference. Among several other, organizations choosing Enugu as a first destination.
Okay, we can continue with, just a moment, Mr. Aurora. You can continue with some of the achievements of this administration in Enugu State. But how do we ensure a government of inclusivity, to ensure that many of the residents are carried along? We've had criticisms that some of the infrastructural developments in the state are to favor some people who are very loyal to the governor. What do you make of these criticisms at this time?
Well, the truth is that I'm convinced that we are not talking about Enugu State. It could have been another state. Because from what I've even enumerated here, every project is happening in all the wards. In terms of unbiased circulation or dissemination of infrastructure, given that whatever sparse skill you find in the governor's local government, you also find in every other local government. Whatever type 2 primary health you find there, you also find everywhere. There's a sense in which the notorious and a nightmare of sectionalism, of xenophobia, of clannishness, of divisive politics, of identity politics has been crumbled and eliminated in Enugu State. So, like I said, the government has dismantled inequities and disequilibrium. He has dismantled inequality in Enugu. So that's restoration of parity. And for once, that reminds us that in politics, it is good also that the government has implanted in us the consciousness of a sense of unism, to the extent that the psyche of a typical politician, otherwise viewed as, a rent-seeking, parasitic, individual whose job is to siphon the commonwealth of people. That has been restored. There seems to be a yawning chasm in terms of trust deficit between the government and the governed, the led, and of course the leaders. But today, that yawning gulf has been mitigated, has been completely eliminated by the character of and the person of the government. Very quickly, okay. The window, it is salient for you to note, the window that gives you a picture of what Enugu is the transportation sector. And I can tell you without missing words, with every sense of humility and authority here, that Enugu Air is about to take off. And people that will work in that segment of the government are already undergoing training, and the planes are parked in the airport for the first time. Enugu has never had it so good. And I tell you that if you go to Opera Square, it will be a popular place, renowned for wonderful locations we have had in the past. Series of buses, CNG buses, about 200, are also packed with an intent to take off so that the dignity of an Enugu man will be restored.
Okay. Before we let you go on the program this morning, what is the IGR of the state, and how has this helped in ensuring prompt payments of salaries, pensions, and the rest? What is the current IGR of Enugu State at the moment?
Well, I do not have the current figure in terms of exactitude. But what I know is that whatever be the IGR that Enugu had preceding this government had been, taken to 600% increment. Courtesy of diligent, approach to governance. And, the fact that the government had blocked leakages everywhere and made sure that the minimum tax collected also provide maximum impact for the people.
Well, it's a fine place to leave it. Many thanks for joining us on the program, Vice Chairman PDP Enugu, Mr. Steve Oruro. Many thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Always my pleasure. Many thanks to you too.
All right, we'll take a break.